Well, here we are. It is the 27th of August, 2024, and it is 6:26 a.m. It's 50 degrees outside, a balmy 71 inside with the heat. We have Dottie right there. Has not been out yet. Has not eaten breakfast yet. Looks a little sleepy. Will probably not be whining this morning. And released yesterday would be my thoughts about the nomad community. A very ad hoc, unexpected video, unplanned. Blind skydiver is the positive news story, and the comments. And yesterday we left off with my friend Canadian Jim. We talked about him. And then the first comment is from Lifestyle Coaching with Donna. Donna's a lifestyle coach. And she's commenting on 5 myths about quartzite, why they're totally wrong. A recent video I did, she said exactly 100. This coming winter will be my 3rd winter in a row. As a Canadian being on the road for 20 months, I can say that quartzite is without a doubt the most social group of people with the most amount of activities of anywhere I have traveled to. Love it there. Great video. Rock on. You get agreement all around there. Thank you. Joe O 8396. This is when I did a while ago, RV tank valve and laptop upgrade. It was I had to pay someone to replace my black water valve. No, it was my gray water valve. And thank goodness I hired a professional. Two of them. Took them almost 2 hours. And I watched them do it. And I realized there's no way I could have done that in less than probably 10 hours and probably would have done it wrong. Joe said I did my gray and black fails myself on my 89 road truck. To say the least, it was a pain in the ass. And I'm betting Joe is far more capable than I am on that kind of thing. I had to break all the rusted bolts to remove the valves. Good thing you got an RV tech to do the work. And Joe has another comment. I worked in the computer world for 30 years. I know exactly what it means. It's all good when it works. Yeah, I really had the laptop I love right now, the Dell that I have. It really stopped working. It would not power on, and it ended up being a very long, boring story short. I replaced a bunch of hardware on it. I replaced the battery. What else did I replace? I replaced memory cards, and I ended up upgrading separately. I upgraded the storage because I was running out of storage. But what ended up fixing it was a firmware update that was putting it to sleep and unable to wake it up without taking it apart, taking out the battery and reseating the battery. But it's been working like a charm ever since. Okay, so this is takes a little explanation. There's many comments on this. This was, and you haven't seen this yet. I did a great interview with author Deborah Dickinson, and it's still in the can here, so to speak. I'm going to edit it today, and I'm going to release it later today. So I'm going to do some editing this morning. But it was an emotional interview, and it kind of really got to me. Deborah's what I call an OG nomad. She's, back in the day was camping with Bob Wells, and she knows everybody. She's been a YouTuber for many, many, many years. And she has a very unique story, and to me, a very emotional story. And I knew her long before the beginning of that part of her life. Not well. I didn't know her well, but I know her well now. So after I did that, I'm driving away. It's a rainy day, and I just put this phone on the dash, and I just started talking. And I even say it, and I said, I don't know whether this is going to be a video or I just need to talk to myself. So it ended up being a video. So the first comment on that is Lizzie Tish. Lizzie Tish K4042. I love listening to you talk. Too bad those mean commenters don't listen to your wise words before spewing their nonsense. Well, I don't know if this person was mean, but I just happened to mention as I'm recording the video and I'm driving, and when I get a comment on my page, I have a little pop-up that happens on my phone. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a pop-up, and I read it said, "You talk too much." It was a little mean, but it wasn't really nasty mean. It was not mean enough for me to either take it down or banish the person. But I thought it was pretty ironic that they were saying you talk too much almost in real time as I was talking doing the video. Come on, that's funny. They said you talk too much, and they have little icon emoji policemen, like about 10 of them. It really wasn't mean. It was like, my best guess is it's someone that likes to see maybe RV videos where they show you stuff like, here's a museum, here's an RV park, here's a lake, here's a mountain, that kind of thing. And I do a little bit of that, but usually not so much. I'm showing you stuff. It's like the inside of a grocery store, the inside of my car, or my face, or my dog. It's just different. So anyway, that's what she's referring to. Zigzag, one of my favorite commenters. Zigzag, he's a quartzite guy. He'll be there this winter, I think. I'm glad there are extroverts because you fill the quiet void by the rest of us introverts. And you know what? I am an introvert. What? Now, introverts and extroverts. Let's talk about that for a minute. Those are two kind of people types, and it has to do with where they get their energy and what drains their energy. An introvert gets their energy from solitude and spending time alone and quiet in general, but generally not from other people. Extroverts, when they're depleted, they get their energy from being around other people, right? And that doesn't mean that extroverts aren't shy. It doesn't mean that introverts are outgoing. I'm outgoing. I'm a talker. I like meeting people. But often, one thing, understand that being an extrovert to a cell phone, like right now, it's a pretty easy deal. There's no one judging me or looking at me, and all the looking comes from far, far away from people I may never meet, and it's a little easier. I do get out in the world. I talk to people quite a bit. Sometimes it's hard for me to break the ice and do it, and I have to gather together a little bit of courage to start a conversation. I get nervous, but over the years I've disciplined myself to sort of walk through the fear and do it. When I was a young man, when I was in my 20s, certainly out of college, I would go to a party, and I was one of those guys that's like, what are you supposed to say? All those people are talking. How are you supposed to, if I walk up there, are they suddenly going to go silent and I'll turn and look at me and go, why are you standing with us? A lot of fear. And it was just, I think over time, just training myself to be brave and put aside my fear and jump in there. And by now, I'm not 20-something, I'm 60-something. By the way, if you're curious, 64, going to be 65 this winter. Going to get my my Medicare card on February 1st. So anyway, introvert, extrovert. I'm actually get my energy from my solitude time, which most of the time I spend, I'm by myself. I'm a nomad that's single, living in a little trailer, traveling around the country. So I spend a lot of time alone, by definition. And maybe, Zig, what you mean is they're glad they're people that jabber away and fill the void of people that would rather be silent, that would rather not be the jabberer. So this would be interesting because this is a comment had multiple responses. I've noticed the content I watch about nomads. I'm sorry, this is Wanda Hope Wandering. That's a good name, Wanda Hope Wandering. She's responding to my thoughts about nomad. I've noticed the content I watch about nomads, van life, etc. doesn't seem to have much diversity. Seems to be primarily white folks. Any thoughts? I was like, yeah, I'm thinking that's probably pretty accurate. I'm not an authority. This is me talking. I'm not an authority in the topic. Let's hope it evolves just like commercial media has over the years. And she says, thanks for your response. And then we have some more. There are nomads of color out there creating content. If you find watchers subscribe to one, you will be suggested more by the algorithm. There's a channel called Glorious Life on Wheels. She advocates for lots of female and senior nomads. I enjoy her content. Just for example, so many more. Oh, that was MEEG5RFR. Pronounce that. That was the last two comments. Then we have Katie May, totally wrong. Traveling with Charity, Life with Anthony, Glorious Life on Wheels, to name a few I follow and love. So they're out there for sure. Let's see. And Wanda says, Wanda Hope Wandering says, yes, I follow them also. Okay. Michael Devlin 7565. I find that if I'm irritable or discontent, it's not the other person. It's normally something inside of me that I need to take a look like. I enjoy the channel. Have a great day. I wish I could remember exactly what I said along those lines, but it sounds like me. Talking about difficult personalities, which I can be one of those difficult personalities. I'm capable. Gray Piffle says, well, I don't think you talk too much. However, I have a bad habit of offending people. I have what is now called ASD1. So we'll try to say whatever I'm thinking without realizing that I'm being offensive. If you do block me, we'll figure it out and send you an email asking why. I will not expect you to unblock me, but I will hope to be able to learn from your reply in the future. Interesting post. That could be hard if it's, a person that feels like I regularly offend people, and I'm usually surprised when it happens because I just don't understand the dynamic of what's appropriate to say and what's not to say. And maybe some people, there's a filter that we all have, that most of us have, right, that says, well, I'm thinking that, but I probably should keep that to myself because, what good would it do to criticize and offend someone? And that this opens up a whole sort of big subject that I've talked about before on the channel, and that is giving people feedback or advice when uninvited. And even when you're a therapist and you're doing sessions, It's something to be very mindful of, as you're kind of an authority somewhat as a therapist, and generally someone is providing you with issues, problems, difficult circumstances. And as a therapist and as a human being, I may think, oh boy, I've seen people go down this road before, and I know this change, this different decision they could make would very likely make a big difference, and they would be happier. And you have to you decide in the moment, is it appropriate for me to give that information? And is it an appropriate time for giving that information? Is it invited? You know, sometimes a client will just come right out and say, tell me what you think. What do you think I should do? Do you have an opinion? That's an invitation. You don't always get that. And there's a fine line too, to you say, well, just ask, would you like my opinion? Well, think about that. You're in there's a differential happening between a therapist and a client. And it's the therapist is recognized as an authority on the general topic of mental health and emotional well-being. And often that translates into an authority on good moves to make in life and having a fulfilling life, that kind of thing. And it all sort of melds together. So if I'm in that position with a person and I say, would you like to know what I have to say? Well, what are they going to say? No. Even if they really aren't really looking for specific advice, the circumstances almost, it's not like two friends sitting at a bar chit-chatting about something. Would you like advice about how to deal with your wife? You more have to say, hell no, I'm just venting. I don't want your advice. That's harder to say with a therapist. So how do I handle that? A little bit different every time. And so I might use strategic questions to help someone maybe see some alternatives versus me just, telling them this is what you should do. But anyway, I'm getting way off track here, aren't I? Let's see, I clicked the wrong thing and it jumped up. Me, EG5FR. Again, so if I learn how to pronounce that, I'll let you know. Yes, thank you and so many other content creators for braving the muck. Please just block it and don't give it another thought. It's just not worthy. I think I talked about the guy that said you talk too much, but then I went on and I talked about, what do we do, with nasty comments? I was really saddened by something. There's a woman that had a YouTube channel that she went silent. Pippinings, I think, was the name of her channel. And she traveled in an RV for a long time, did some homesteading, loves greyhound dogs. And I thought she was delightful. I followed her and watched all her videos, and she kind of disappeared for at least a year or so. And she recently came back and did a couple of videos, and I was so excited to see that she was back. And then I saw a Facebook post from yesterday, and it was very lengthy, and I sat down and I read it, and she said, I've come back, and I even have a stack of videos ready to be released, and I realized for the same reasons I left, I just can't do this. And there are things like, she was making reference to, I think she had this line, I just can't let strangers back into my life again. And what she meant by that was viewers that come in and criticize her. They criticize her appearance. They make unwelcome suggestions. You know, she was making examples like you're looking like you're not aging well. You should do this and not that in your videos. And she's had a much larger audience than I, and so she got a lot more of that kind of nasty feedback. And she's not going to be able to do it. We're not going to hear from her anymore, other than the occasional innocuous maybe Facebook post, but no more videos. And I was so sad that she's not able to do that. There are some providers that get more of this negative stuff than others, and I haven't quite cracked the code on that. I don't really get much. I really, in the scheme of things, you know, the sort of hiding a person from the channel, that thing that you click on, I maybe do that once every couple of weeks at the most. And it's usually off you're probably not familiar with my 1.3 million view video on a RV accident, and it's really got nothing to do with my channel other than, hey, this is a horrible thing. People lost their lives. I think I know what happened here, and here's some resources on how to do the right thing if you're driving a big RV and you have a steering tire blowout, because I think that's what caused that accident. And that was my intent, and that was the only connection to my channel, and it blew up. It's the kind of video that attracts maybe some morbid kind of people that are nasty. So I get a lot of them I block from there, and they doubt they watch any of my other videos anyway. So what was I saying? I lost my train of thought for sure. More coffee, right? Oh, Pippinings. So I'm so sad that she's not able to express herself in a way that she's going to be comfortable and feels good about it. It's so sad. You can say, hey, you can do videos with comments off, but what's the point, really? If you don't have comments on and you're not hearing what people think and getting feedback and starting to think that maybe I'm starting to have some kind of the beginnings of a relationship with people online. And then, you know, like me, I'll have a meetup, my first meetup I'm going to have this winter, and you get to meet people face to face and actual friendships develop. And that's happened with me. Charlie and Diane, who I've been camping next to, were for over a year have been, let's say, silent subscribers. They didn't comment much, and they recognized me, and we became friends. That, you know, that certainly happens. But if you do videos and you shut it off, the feedback off, and it's just one way, it's not. I don't think it's really the same experience. So I'm sorry, Pippinins. I'm gonna miss you. Let's see. On the comments video from yesterday, she said, I guess your quartzite videos do better. Yeah, all you have to do is do a video and whisper quartzite, and you get double the views. And when I get to quartzite, I will gain subscribers. I'll get lots more views, and it's just the way it is. Gray Piffle says, natural flavors must be derived from plant or animal material. Artificial flavors are synthesized in the lab. Was that as I was reading the package here and wondering about... Okay, so one of the ingredients was natural flavor, and she's explaining that natural flavors must be derived from plant or animal. And then the last one was mixed tosophenols. And so I think there's another comment here that addresses what the heck that was, but this is Dottie's snacks. Mama Wonderlust 6000, I enjoy your videos and greatly appreciate your authenticity. I bet you're a great therapist. Thanks. Most people think so. Not everybody. Not all my clients think I'm a great therapist. I think I do. I got about an 80% good match rate and about a 20%, I'm not sure he's my cup of tea rate. That's not bad. MEEG5FR. Dramatic or outrageous, yes. Just so you know, if you title a video, it's the end, etc. I'm out of here. It's funny. Okay, here's the answer to the tocopherols. Julie Hamilton says that word tocopherols is associated with vitamin E. Who knew? And I guess it also has preservative properties. So this is good stuff. What are we talking about? We're talking about they're 3 calories a piece. I'm going to do something here I did on another video. This is Dottie's. She's staring at me. Here. How many are gonna go, oh my God, he just ate dog food on camera? Talk about that. One, this would make a great snack for a human being. I'll read the ingredients. Peas, chickpeas, chicken liver, potato, pea starch, chicken, dried egg product, pumpkin, apples, coconut oil, natural flavors, tapioca, cinnamon, mixed in that word, tocopherols, associated with vitamin E. That's it. 3 calories a piece. So the freak out over people eating, oh my God, he ate dog food. Do you love your dog? You're a dog owner? You love your dog? Rhetorical question. Of course you do. I would do anything for Dottie, right? Dottie is a source of unconditional love for me, as every other dog I've had in my life. And I care about my dog's health and welfare. It's a top priority. I think you might know me that I do homemade food for my dog. And this obviously is just a snack. But I do either ground turkey or ground beef. I cook it. I mix in vegetables. The batch I made yesterday was lean ground beef, peas, and carrots. That's what I feed my dog. It's expensive, but it's worth it. And that's how much I care about my dog. Think about this. If I would be horrified to put in my mouth something I would feed that dog, what's wrong with that equation? That I would think that there would be something so horrific that I'm feeding my dog, a fellow carnivore, that I think would be somehow harmful or disgusting to me. But I'm okay giving it to this little creature I love so much. Think about that. I read you the ingredients. There's nothing gross. There's nothing. It's probably the healthiest thing I'll eat all day is probably one of Dottie's 3-calorie snacks. So that's my 2 cents on that. Thanks, Julie. Vitamin D. Maybe I don't need to get any sun today, right? Let's see. There's the graphic content RV crash. I talked about that video. There was, it was a comment I didn't like very much. I said, I bet it was speeding. Well, you don't know that. 2 people died in it. It's kind of a nasty thing to say. So what happened in this accident, it was on I-10 a couple of years ago on Interstate 10. I happened to be traveling out there. It was a Class A with a couple in it, and they had a steering wheel blowout. And instead of accelerating through it, they probably panicked, hit the brakes. They crossed over the median strip, at the exactly the wrong time and had a head-on collision with a 18-wheeler that was carrying huge blocks of concrete, and they died instantly, and the Class A was absolutely obliterated down to the frame. That's what happened. Could it have been speeding? Yeah. Is it useful to speculate about that? The horror of that situation. There's terrible, but it's not horrible enough for me to just delete the comment. So I just said, fine, I let it go. On the comments video, Susan Jack says, amazing, thrilling, spectacular, shocking, jaw-dropping, dramatic, outrageous. I watch all your videos. She's teasing about the words that, like, you get these software and coaches and YouTubers that are telling you how to get more views, and they want you to use emotional, provoking titles and thumbnails to get people curious and emotional. And the problem with that is if you do that, you provoke all these emotions and anticipation, and they watch the video and it's like, oh, that's what's outrageous? Really? Let's see, user. It's one of those generic string of numbers and letters. That was hilarious. Talking about response to the person who may not be a regular viewer in the future. Yeah, the guy, I forgot to say that. Because I said it in yesterday's video, the guy that said, you talk too much. I said, so I guess this means you're not going to be a regular viewer. He never responded to that. Let's see. Back to my thoughts on my nomad community. Your content is often, this is Tim Harris. Hey, Tim. Your content is often insightful and encouraging. I hope you make videos to brighten people's, I hope you keep making videos to brighten people's day. Thank you for taking the time to encourage people to be more insightful and kind in the dealings in their daily lives. That's part of the idea. And you know what happens? If I encourage people to be more kind in their own life, guess what it does for me? It reminds me that I have the same responsibility. And it's easier for me to think twice before opening this mouth when I'm upset about something. Another generic user name says, you don't talk too much. Some of us love it. Lisa Roth. Wasn't there a song? You talk too much. You worry me to death. I can hear it in my mind. I guess I'll have to look it up. I think there probably is. Randy, another one of my favorites. And she's responding to Positive News 149, escape artist and ribbon winner. I have a beagle. He chased smell horses and got lost. He was a puppy, found a tiny weakness in our fence, and was up all night posting flyers on every polar tree, every street, over a mile out, with a large reward. The family that found him were planning on keeping him, but the next morning after I have to click read more, hang on. After they drove through the neighborhood, seeing all my signs, they called. Lisa, hello Lisa, and this is Blind Skydiver. Very inspiring story, and this was my most recent short on a blind woman that was tandem skydiving to raise money for service dogs, for service dogs for the blind. Peter Rubin, laugh out loud. I talk too much too. I'm an Uber driver and have riders make comments after the ride and stated that I talk too much. The funny thing is they give me a tip. I've been watching you for a while and appreciate your thoughts about things. Keep talking. You have an advantage over me that if you're in an Uber and you've got that rear view mirror, you can see people. If you're talking too much, you can kind of see some facial expressions that may be an indicator they're not totally on board with listening to you. But here, it's harder than luck. I can't see when I'm losing you. I have to wait to the next day. I have to wait for the comments. Do you remember Romper Room? Romper Room? where at the end of the show, she would hold like a magnifying glass up to the TV, and she'd go, "Hello, I see you, Sally, and Johnny, and Becky, and Robert." And when they got to Robert, it was like, she sees me. Romper Room. Who remembers Romper Room? Randy says, I saw that comment, was going to say something, but then saw your response. It was fantastic. That was on You Talk Too Much. Taylor Rose, social media has been one of the best things happened for us and one of the worst things. And I responded to that when I said, I agree. It's both the best and the worst. Susan Sells, 9385 says, I agreed. Words do hurt and stay with you much longer than a broken bone. I can still remember things that were said to me years ago, and they still hurt to this day. Love the George and Dottie. Saying sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. It's kind of a rhyme designed to help kids get over teasing. But the reality is that sticks and stones, you break a bone, it hurts, but they heal and you can largely forget about it. But words easily can stay with us, and words emotionally can create scars that broken bones that pale compared to broken bones. So words matter. They do. You can get over them, and sometimes you need help. Judy, hey Judy, we need that hide option in our daily lives, and she means the click hide from channel. I believe many of those people don't have the cojones to say it in person, so they're anonymous online. I love our tribe and have met the most wonderful and caring nomads since starting my travels. The blind skydiver, Randy, is back again saying, I love it when people can overcome and enjoy life again. 5 myths about quartzite, why they're totally wrong. My Zen Life 65 says, I live in Kew. It's really difficult for residents during the winter season. And I bet it is. You know, you get most of your maybe 9 months out of the year. It's nice and peaceful, and there are no crowds and crazy traffics and people yelling and noisy. And then for 3 months, you're just overrun with 1 million people. And certainly I don't pretend to know what that's like. But I have sympathy for you. I try to be kind to certainly people that live there, that run local businesses, and but I bet it's hard. It is. And Lisa Richards, I enjoy your personality. Simple. And Don the First says, time to buy a new bed for the pets. That way there will always be a bed no matter who is hogging one of them. Well, if you saw the floor space that I have, there's not a room for another bed. George has multiple spots George can go. George generally is right behind me down here behind my recliner, and he can actually go under the recliner. That's his favorite spot. And there's also an elevated bed that Dottie can't get to, that George can use. And then George can go up and down the regular bed as needed. Dottie doesn't have those options. So there's like 4 spots for 2 animals. So there's still competition. And Dom says, keep talking. I love it when you talk. Russell Harrison says, on my thoughts about Nomad Committee, Rob, one of your best talks. Keep talking. Thanks, Russ. Then we're back to Judy again on the comments video. Oh, Rob, I always bought those treats for Gertie, but I never ate them myself. Yeah, she knows what these are. Or the ones I kept for all my kids, but in several flavors. Charlie Bears, that's the brand name. Looked like the best option for her and my lady. Darren Abbey Photography makes some of our daily problems seem insignificant. Great story, and that's the blind skydiver. And then Judy, more on the comments. Prices are a little higher in Kew, but living in a small town, Bishop, California, doesn't seem any different. We don't have a Walmart here, The closest is 140 miles away in either direction. So I do not complain at all about the prices in Kew or Bishop, except eggs were $5 a dozen, and that seemed crazy. I think I remember one year there was an egg shortage or something last year or the year before, and eggs got for a week or so were like $7 a dozen, and they came back down. You don't see that often where something in the grocery goes way up and then comes back down again, but occasionally it happens. So my nomadic dream says, I used to get offended by those types of commenters on my channel. Sometimes I will comment back with, thank you for helping the algorithm by commenting on my video and improving the reach. Or depending on how rude they are, I'll delete their comment. Yeah. There's a pool. How about Teresa Pool? As opposed to there's a pool. Sorry, Teresa. I'm new to your channel. I like the fact you don't beat around the bush. I've not been accused of that. That's for sure. Or take shit from people. That's funny. Jesse Jenkins on the same video. Love listening to you. Love the positive vibes you bring to your channel. Stay true, my friend, and God bless. Oh, thank you, Jesse. And Naj says, what a brave woman. That's the blind skydiver. And that's it for today. And this is far longer than even my longest one yesterday. How did I talk for 41 minutes on a bunch of comments? How did I do that? I don't know, but I better stop now. I got to take Dottie to go do her business and feed her breakfast and then do the positive news video. 41 minutes. Holy crap. Eek.